Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Ancient Legends Challenge. In the last episode, omens of an old feud between our ancient families were brought to little Macy on the ocean waves. She discovered leeches in the water, and she saw those red piranha fish floating around too. And that in particular was what reminded her of Anareme's family. These blood-red digging trunks who used to rule this island back when her family was still alive. So she's trying her best to steer her family inland because she's a little bit afraid of what all this might mean. Surely it means that the warlords have returned, so they need to prepare. And more than that, she doesn't want to risk losing her children or her mate to those dangerous creatures in the water. Unfortunately for her, not everybody is so convinced. Pixel, for instance, knows the truth. Macy was the only one who survived the cold inside those glaciers, so it seems unlikely to him that any sort of evil beasts could have possibly come with her to this island too. But before we start moving this family, I did want to go back here, because it would appear as if Melody has dropped a gigantic feast, a nice big gift to all of her most loyal subjects. So this would actually be a great way for Kaneki to consider teaching his children how to hunt. Unfortunately, they're not quite as strong as he is, because none of them inherited that big claw. But at least they can learn how to chase down their food. Oh, we even have some little bunnies hopping around here too. Maybe we can snag one of those up as well. Though the walrus deer is clearly going to be the bigger priority. So I suppose our sunny little June could be the first one. We could have him hop over here to hopefully scare the walrus deer away. Oh my goodness. Oh June, where did you go? Oh, he is completely lost in the snow now. He was way too overeager. Okay, you better unbury your son before we go trying to find this walrus deer again. Oh, you poor thing. Yeah, he's going to have to be careful from here on out. Maybe Kaneki should focus on just shoveling out the snow. Though to be honest, the walrus deer will do a pretty good job of that for us. It's a good thing that he showed up right inside our tribe's territory, because he'll carve out paths all on his own. Let's have Nevi come down here to help them out too. She could use her turns at least to pick up the snow by the nest. That way a little Jester can toddle his way out. And now we can take our first swipe. Oh, showing your sons how it's done. They are going to be so eager to get in on the hunt as well. And for that matter, we even have some new hunters joining us too. Madison has run into this beautiful grizzled tigress who seems to be tracking down the bunnies just like she is on the dark side of the island. So we'll see if maybe she can join them, because I'm sure that she would have loved to sink her fangs into the walrus deer as well. Let's have Rekois push little Pineapple back to his family. He can jump high on the stump, and maybe down here to the hot springs. If we have him over on this side, maybe that'll be a good way to scare the walrus deer into our claws. He's doing well so far, but we'll have to bring Rekois down here to join him. Oh, looks like you can grab one of the bunnies instead. Excellent. So one more swipe from Messy, and then we want you to settle down in the nest, because I think this would be a pretty good time to introduce some more flames into the world. It seems like that's what Melody is hoping for. Maybe this next baby will even be just as lucky as Jester, who is one of the few who managed to inherit the heat body and his inactive traits. I know we are getting relatively close to seeing it unlock in our mutation menu, but until then we're going to have to try to breed it in the old-fashioned way. It looks like it might even be warming up again on the mountainside, so fingers crossed it's not a trick this time. I know last time it seemed like the snow was still piling up, even though we weren't seeing snow, so we'll have to see what's in store for us today. But it looks like Fang has a bunny to bring back to his baby, and I know that Anareme will be quite impressed with him. She's already very, very proud of her first son. She's going to train these babies to be something like soldiers, because that's how she was trained too. So even though he's not the strongest, this is still a very good start. He has those grand megaloceros horns, something that her own family has never seen before. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if most of them did have the antennas. Maybe that's what her family was prided for, in fact, their ability to predict the fickle mountain weather. But she, as a creature with the ram horns, is one more connected to the goddess of war, hence her fascination with taking back her land. So Avo is an excellent start, but she is going to turn toward other strong creatures too, because she wants to make sure that her babies are going to be as strong as they can be. So while she might have some more babies with Fang in the future, I think she is also quite interested in Choopy. He has the saber-tooth fangs after all, so she already knows that he's going to be quite strong. I think it would be nice if they could start making their way toward these permanent nests. That way we don't have to use all of our nesting material just for one baby. We'll bring Choopy this way, have them shovel out the snow just like their other family members. Yeah, that snow can really be difficult to navigate through. That's why we don't do much traveling when it's snowing. So I think Anareme would like to check out this new area for their base. So let's see if Copper can scoot on over next to the little baby, and he can keep watch over him for now. We might as well see if there are any roots to dig up along the way. Yeah, it looks like you have plenty of food up this way, so go ahead and scoop up that root for us, and you can see if this place is fit to your liking. Maybe it'll house the next royal babies in your line, and it looks as if the bunnies are just as eager to have these babies move inland. Our bunny guides are trying their best to help them hop back up those slopes, so I'm sure Macy is feeling very relieved. Pixel, I suppose, will humor her for now. He doesn't really want to separate himself from his family either, but he can't shake the feeling that all of this is just some wild goose chase. I know that he would love to just stay on the shores and collect his shells for days and days. That's what their family was known for after all, so it's going to be hard for him to leave that life behind. Though some of his kids do still have that hammer tail, so there is the possibility that he could sneak away with them. I mean, Macy's not going to be happy if she finds out, but I'm sure it's in the back of his mind. And now, last but not least, let's go back to our tigress to see if we can make any more progress on the other side of the island. She's probably wondering what Madison is doing out here, and maybe this would be a good way for her to let her in on the legends that her family is searching for. Since Ramir seems to know this area quite well, maybe she would even know where the glacier is? Maybe this is something that she has passed in her time. We know that it was somewhere around here, we're just not sure exactly where. So let's have her lead a little Maddie into the snow, and we'll see what they can discover together. Fingers crossed it's not going to be a balance bear, because that's the last thing those two need to run into. Though, given how strong both of them are, I would imagine that they could take one down pretty easily, as long as they both work together. So let's sniff around, make sure there's no danger out inside that snow. So far so good, and it looks like you guys can hear some more of those little bunnies burrowing around in the snowdrifts. So maybe it would be a good time for you to keep carving your pathways. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that heat was enough to melt any of our snow, but at least you can connect your pathways now, so it should be easier to get around. Then again, I shouldn't really call it their pathways. I honestly have no idea who's making these paths out here. We know the bunnies can't flatten down the biggest of snowdrifts, so it would have to be like a wandering creature, right? I mean, somebody who can move around a lot, that's for sure. So I can't imagine it would be a balance bear, because they tend to stay stationary once we skip the day. They don't move around every single turn like the bunnies. And oh my goodness, Copper! You have the biggest feast to catch for this baby? Oh, he is going to be quite the little hunter. He might not have any claws. Ooh, the snow just disappeared there. Oh geez, That doesn't seem good. Maybe we should have Copper investigate? I am so curious to see what it could be, so... If Simber could get down to the hot springs... No, he's going to be just short. I guess we'll have to have Anareme come back after all. Somebody has to protect the baby. Let's have Choopy move over here. That would be a good way to prove his loyalty to the queen. Then we can have Copper scoot on out, sniff around, listen very closely. Okay, it looks like we have a bunny out here. Was it really just the bunny then? Maybe that snow was just short enough? I don't know, guys. I don't know what it could be, but Copper is going to be on the case. That we know for certain. So go ahead and scoop up this bunny so Simber can warm up inside this hot spring, right back where they started. How fitting is that? I think Simber likes these hot springs a little bit more than he's letting on. I think he's a bit more lazy than what Anareme expects of her court. That's probably not going to fly if she does end up giving him a special task, and he completely ignores it. But I guess we'll have to see how it goes in the future. Now, is your walrus deer still around these parts? It seems awfully quiet. Maybe he's the one who is helping the bunnies shovel out the snow down this way? So I guess you're going to have to take your babies out to investigate that too. But first, let's take a look at the newest little baby in the nest. The newest little flame. Well, he has a spiky body and his inactive traits, so he's one of the old flames at least. Not the best of eyesight either, but at least he has the Baragina snout and his inactive traits. That's pretty cool. I would still love to see that on some of our babies, even if it's not an ancient gene, because it's always so rare in our tribes. But the next name on my list is Clover, so welcome to our tribe, little one. I suppose you could be one of our creatures who stands watch over these clover patches, because goodness knows these bunnies are greedy enough as it is. That's a great way for our hunters to track them down. Oh, and they are just running circles around you guys back here. Oh, that must be so frustrating. They're far too tired to lunge after them. But I suppose you guys could probably scoop up this bunny for us. Now Macy's not going to be too happy to see you getting so close to the edge of the water. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she rushes over to pull them away. Let's have her make her way up here so she can start shuffling this pathway, while Stone and Pixel, I suppose, work around the other side of the rocks. That way, if they do happen to smell any of those shells, they can scoop it up really quick before Macy even knows. Oh, here's our walrus deer. You know what? I bet he was the one shuffling out that path. Oh, Copper. This is quite the sight, isn't it? He's never seen a walrus deer before. So I guess that means that our flames in Anareme's court might just be crossing paths. Let's see. I think I want Kaneki to have just one more baby with Messy, so he might actually end up staying here, depending on how long this takes. We'll have her scoot over here and breed with him. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Right on the first try. So that gives him plenty of time to help guide his sons over to the walrus deer, or at least what little they can still smell of him. They will all have to stick together because, unfortunately, Melody's flames aren't exactly ready for the cold yet. So I guess this is a good learning exercise for Kaneki's babies too, because they're learning how to move together as a unit. If you drop in over here, you should be able to clear out a little bit of the extra snow, and that still gives Jester a space to settle in next to his brothers. That means we'll have to leave little June right here, but something tells me his family is probably like holding him back anyways. After they saw him go diving straight into those deep snowdrifts, they really don't want to take any chances. Unfortunately, this is like the only place where we don't have those roots to dig up, so unless that walrus deer takes a wrong turn, you might have to stay right there overnight. Messy, I suppose, can jump on her throne, She can watch from the throne as her mate spends his final day hunting with their babies. It's a sad moment, but I'm sure she's proud of him. At the very least, she knows that he's teaching them very well. Ooh, and if you come over here, you can grab all of the roots for our babies. Excellent, even the bunnies were impressed with that one. Lots and lots of food going straight into our pockets. So that should be the end of our turn again. We'll leave the little babies where they are to ensure their safety. The bluebirds are actually way over here. Oh, they're following the pathways too. Look at that. Oh, there must be some sort of wander on that side of the mountain. Maybe it'll be time for some of our greatest singers to call out loud on top of those stumps. We'll have to see if we can lure anyone out from hiding. I suppose that would be a great way for Messie to remember her mate. But first, let's make sure that we're taking a nice big swipe at this walrus deer. Oh, you've scared him straight into Simber and Choopy. Yeah, why don't you keep having him run this way? That way Avo can take a swipe. Oh, your mother is watching. Don't let him get away, okay? Oh no, he might be slipping from your grasp. Well, Avo is not going to stand for that. Now that he has a second gem, he can go running after this walrus deer too. Oh, he found a little bunny under his feet. At least it's something. It's not the walrus deer, of course, but it's a little bit of meat to bring back to his mother. We should definitely have poor Fang join them. Maybe he could even land that final blow, but at the very least he is helping to protect that meat, so the bluebird won't get a whiff of it wherever he is. Now let's finally have Choopy return to Anareme's side. I want to see if we can get started on their family next. Anareme's mutation menu is already set up, but how could we change Choopy's for stronger babies? Oh, wouldn't that be interesting if he passes that scorpion tail? That would make for quite the sight. I think we'll want to work on his fertility though, because his is so poor. So high fertility in one slot, and then let's go ahead and throw the mask into his second, just like what we did for Fang. So hopefully all of Anareme's babies will look the royal part. So we'll have him try to breed with her. Hopefully we can still settle her down in that nest. There we go, just in time. So she will be able to give birth on the next turn after all. I think I saw that walrus deer start carving his path toward them though. Is that where he went? Might not be the best idea to run straight into our warlord's claws. But I guess we'll have to wait and see for the next turn. Because unfortunately Melody's flames are probably far too far away to go chasing after him now. We can have Pineapple lunge down here to grab this bunny. And then maybe little June can pick up the meat for us, as they all huddle together again. Oh my goodness. He is going straight for the queen. Oh, you better run. We don't have that many turns left before we're going to be ready to skip the day. And if you're waiting right there next to her, she is not going to hesitate. She is not quite as friendly as some of our other families. Let's toss Nevi down here to go after this bunny too, which will actually put her quite close to where we're hoping to bring this family away from their shells. Oh, that has to be so tempting to Triss. She knows that her mother is right behind her though, watching over her shoulder. Don't you dare take a step back into the ocean, Triss. I will not lose you too, not like my grandmother may. So they will, regretfully, need to leave that shell behind. But that doesn't mean that Pixel is going to have the same views. They don't smell anything off on this side of the island, so maybe now would be a good time for him to sneak off with the stone, so they can try to locate the shell. There you go. Go ahead and crack that open with your hammer tail, as Pixel watches from the shore. Oh, today is his last day too? Oh my goodness. If Macy sees, if she sees him hovering by the shores right before he passes, she's going to think that that was the reason, just because he was playing around in the ocean waves again. that is certainly not going to help Pixel's case. It's kind of sad that they won't be together tonight, but at least they both have their children to keep them company. Now, let's have Messy sing her songs next. She can sing loud and proud on top of the stump to help remember her fallen mate, to give Clover something to remember perhaps, as Rekois comes near to keep them all warm on her final day too. Oh, she's probably really proud as well, watching all of those babies toddle off for their own adventures. She knows that they've been well trained. They've gone after walrus deers. She even taught little Pineapple, I believe, how to dig up those roots. So she has been a wonderful influence on them. But as for you guys, let's see if you can smell anything now. Just those pesky bunnies again, but those are on the other side of the snowdrifts. So let's see if we can find anything out here instead. Yeah, it looks like the bunnies are definitely alive and well. They are doing an excellent job maintaining this pathway for us. But it kind of makes you wonder why. Like, are they just leading our little hunters straight to their doom? Maybe they want us to go to this island next, since we don't have access to any of the mountains from here. We're going to have to go through another loop before we can find one. But I think we're all out of turns now. So unfortunately we will be saying goodbye to Pixel, but we'll also be greeting the next little royal baby inside the nest. Oh my goodness, and what a fierce baby he is. Oh, he looks even more menacing than the queen herself, with those giant black megaloceros horns and his dark red fur. Yes, this is exactly what she was hoping for. The next name on my list is actually Tusk, which I feel like is a pretty fittingly fierce name. So welcome to our tribe, little one. We'll have to see what sort of adventures you can get into as well. And we'll have to see if we can find that walrus deer again. It looks like he must have heeded our advice, but after staring down the nose of a big meal like that, she is not very likely to let that walrus deer rest. So maybe she would send out Choopy to go find it. We'll have her stay next to her baby for now. She can dig up roots, she can clear out paths. And we'll see if the great Choopy can track down the walrus deer for us. Let's have him try this way first. We'll scoot down here where none of our other creatures are. There's plenty of clovers in this area. Gosh, I wonder if he escaped to the ocean? Oh my goodness, we're going to have to run after him really fast if he did, because he was so close to the end of his lifespan, and I would hate to lose all of that meat somewhere on the snow. Let's have Avo follow him. Even though this isn't his father, I feel like because he's on this mission for the walrus deer, Avo would want to join in too. Actually, this is a good chance for our flames to notice them. Can we just appreciate for a moment how different these two families look? We have our goofy, sunny flames, and then we have our fierce warriors on this side of the island. Well, having them cross paths will certainly be an interesting experience. We'll have you dig up at least one of these roots. Then maybe Jester can sit up on top of the stump here. Oh, you could actually help by scouting around for the walrus deer. I mean, since you guys are looking for the same thing anyways, you might as well help wherever you can. Yeah, I think he may have escaped straight out to sea. Oh geez, hopefully he's not looking for a different island to migrate to. Can you imagine? I think Simba is going to have to sit this one out though, because he is a little bit cold. So this would be a good chance for him to pack up that old nest so we don't lose the nesting material. He knows there are still plenty more babies to be born on the side of the island. So that is definitely a good decision for him to make. Yes, we found you. We don't exactly have the energy to spare to take care of him on this turn, but at least we know where he is now. I think we'll leave June with his 2 turns, just in case he needs to scare this walrus deer back to the rest of the tribe. We don't want him escaping from us after all. Now, as Pixel has passed away, it's time for Stone to return to his mother with the news, and with a brand new little bunny in tow. But she is going to be just heartbroken. It'll be a lot for her to take. I'm not sure if she would even have the strength to claw through these pathways anymore, claw through all the snow. So I think her babies are going to have to take over most of the work for her. We'll bring Fim up here to clear out the rest, and to greet Nevi, I guess. Poor little Nevi, she's getting so cold, but she's kind of like the gatekeeper up here. Oh, it looks like we actually had some nesting material in this location. I thought it was just a normal snowdrift. Well, Macy might be happy to meet some new little babies. It has been a while since her children were this young, so I'm sure she would like to play around with Clover. Maybe that would at least lift her spirits. We'll bring her right up next to the stump for now. Maybe she could even sing a mournful song up on Macy's stump. She has one more baby to give birth to anyways, so after one more call, we'll sit her down right here, where she can plant down her nest, and we'll give Macy a turn tomorrow. And where did our walrus dear friend go? Oh no. Oh no, it seems like he may have wandered off again. Well, I'd be surprised if he got too far away from this location. He has to be off in the darkness on this side of the island, otherwise we would see him for sure. So much of the middle land is lit up by now, he wouldn't have very far to go. And that bunny is far too tempting for Clover. Go ahead and get it, little one. I think our huntresses are going to bypass the bunnies for now, just so they can get to the end of this pathway faster. The bunnies are great for food. There are so many hopping around here. But since we have plenty in our stores right now, and since I am very curious to see what might be waiting for us, I mean, if it's anything other than bunnies, let's just see if we can make our way down to that nest right over by the ports. I wonder if maybe somebody is living here with the bunnies? Let's see. Nope, this just seems to be their own personal playground. But they are very, very close to where we saw that last glacier, so I think I know what their next mission is going to be. So I think we'll go ahead and skip the turn just one last time. June doesn't really have anything to go after, and he wants to make sure that his brothers are kept warm anyways. So let's see what their last baby sibling is going to look like. Oh, it looks like it's a little female digging chunk this time. Oh, she is super cute. She's actually much lighter than most of her other siblings, so she's like a tiny little sunbeam, a tiny little buttercup. Well, the next name on my list is Skitty. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. Welcome to our tribe, little one. She might not look much like a Skitty, but I think they are equally as cute. So in the next episode, we'll see if Anareme's corps has what it takes to take down that walrus deer once and for all. They'll just have to track it down first, but Avo is raring to prove himself, so I'm sure everything will work out for him in the end. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!